Welcome to Comic Movie 10, where you get insight into everything comic book movies and television related in 10 minutes or less. I'm Joe Kane.
And I'm Dan Kane. No relation. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and share and keep up with us at hecklerkane.com.
On today's episode, we're going to run down our top 5 picks for the end credit scenes of Marvel movies.
That's right. We saw Marvel's Infinity War.
Yeah.
And the after credit scene with Nick Fury. He's one of the people that disappears, and he's paging somebody for help, and he disappears. The pager hits the floor, and it shows the Captain Marvel logo.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool scene.
It sparked us. We walked out of the theater and we started having this debate about what were the best movies that Marvel has put out that have had great end credit scenes.
Right. What were the best end credit scenes? So
and there were ones that we went back and forth with, and we did a nice rewatch before we started the podcast to to try to track down what we thought still of all time were ones that moved us the most and made the most sense and were the greatest end credit scenes.
Right. So we came up with the top 5 that we pretty much agree on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump right into it.
All right. So number 5 is a little greedy.
And number 5 is I'm a huge now again it's X-Men. Days of Future Past. So it's not necessarily Marvel, but it's Marvel. It's Fox.
Well, it's Fox, but it's not under the Marvel Cinematic Universe like the rest of them are.
Right. So this was the one that we had that wasn't, but I'm a huge Apocalypse fan.
Yeah.
So this was a lot of me. I pushed for this one to get in there. It's the EN Sabah Nur after credit scene of X-Men Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
It shows him standing there in ancient Egypt with his hands up. He's constructing the pyramids. And everybody there is bowing. He has the power of mind control, and he's basically a god. And the pyramids are going up right in front of him. They're bowing, chanting in Sabah Nur. And at the end of it, just over his shoulder, you see the 4 horsemen.
4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
And
it was a great scene, and this is why I said we should put this on. We should go with this because it's something that set up the entire next movie.
And it's something that's very dark. And him always being a favorite, just the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is a very dark thing to bring up. And it just, the way that it was shot, I had chills the first time that I was sitting there watching that after credit scene.
Yeah. It also let the X-Men universe say it wasn't just like this has always been going on. This was a piece of information that we really never had because, it was like Charles Xavier and Magneto and everything starting to put this together and going, okay, well, we have to form this and we have to. But this shows that this was long before anything else that had gone on as far as mutants went.
Right. Yeah. No, this guy's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah. So that was our pick for that, number 5. Number 4,
Deadpool.
All right, this is a Ferris Bueller-esque bite off, which is the only thing that in the entire Marvel universe here. Ferris Bueller was not a part of anything else, and it had nothing to do really with the movie itself. It was just poking fun at pop culture, which is what the entire movie kind of did.
Poking fun at pop culture, but also poking fun at everything, including the rest of, including the MCU.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about another film here that wasn't in the MCU, really, in the number 4 spot. So, it even mentions, so what are you expecting, Sam Jackson to pop out?
Yeah.
It's over. The movie's over, and this is so great.
And he also gives a plug for the Cable movie, which is now coming out, the Deadpool 2, and he kind of sets that all up by mentioning Cable, and it really did drive the story forward with being completely ludicrous,
completely ridiculous, which is awesome.
Which is why we have it in our number 4 pick of all time greatest after credit scenes.
Yes.
Number 3.
Number 3 is a good one. Number 3 was after Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And it's Thanos putting on the gauntlet.
It changed so much and set up so much for everything we saw in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And everything that we've seen in the Marvel Universe after that point. Age of Ultron was like this crazy movie. We had seen Thanos already. Now this was saying that he was coming out and he's going to do it himself.
He's going to do it himself. And again, it led us to where we are now. He tried it. He sent other people. He had Loki working for him in Avengers. And now, okay, I'll do it myself now.
Yeah.
And he puts it on, and it is the very beginning of where we've gotten to.
It was a geekgasm for everybody who was a comic book fan.
Yeah. Yep.
Who knew who this character was and said, "Oh my God, he's coming!" And he put on the gauntlet.
Yeah.
That was what it was.
That sparked a lot of things.
Yeah. So
old books and where this could lead to. And again, we're dead smack in the middle of where it could lead to because this story's not over.
Exactly.
So we're still going forward, starting from that point, that turning point.
Yeah. Our choice for number 2.
Our choice for number 2 is a little more silly.
Yeah.
It's after the first Avengers movie.
Yep.
The shawarma scene.
Yeah.
Where basically after this big fight, they're just sitting there eating. They're not saying a word. They're exhausted. But it's funny, but it also shows just how exhausted they are.
Yeah. You know, it told a lot by saying nothing. There was nothing in that. There was no dialogue. There was them sitting around in the shawarma joint.
Mm-hmm.
There were people cleaning up in the background, showing it was in complete disarray.
Yep.
And it brought a humanity to these people who are otherwise gods.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And it was Joss Whedon. I believe he had written that scene after Infinity War, after the Avengers had already filmed and wrapped, and it was just before it was released. He brought everybody back.
Right.
As a matter of fact, a little tidbit, a little Easter egg there. Chris Evans is sitting with his hand over his face. And the reason he's sitting there with his hand over his face is because it was months later and he'd already grown a beard for another movie. I think it was Snowpiercer. Okay. And he had to cover the beard with his hand, so it couldn't be seen from the camera. So he doesn't move, and he's the only one not eating.
Right. But, I mean, from a comedic standpoint, it was perfect.
It was absolutely perfect. And there were so many serious ones that had came before that.
Yeah.
And this one was a good comedic release where you went, oh, I get it.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
It still was tongue-in-cheek, but very effective.
Yeah. And that leads us to our number 1 on the list, which we both agreed was the Avengers Initiative. At the end of Iron Man 1, which started this whole thing 10 years ago in 2008.
Yep.
And it's Nick Fury talking to Tony Stark that you're not the only one out there.
It was that initial thing. There had been end credit scenes in different Marvel movies before that, but this was the one that sparked everything with the Avengers. This whole past 10 years has been sparked by that one moment that it's about a minute and a half at the end of the Iron Man movie.
Yeah, and it all just jumped off from there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the beginning. It's been 10 years in the making, and that was the first mention of Avengers. And basically, what was exciting is back then we didn't have all these things coming out where we knew ahead of time, 2-3 years in advance, what was going to happen.
Yeah.
This was like we found out stuff from these end credit scenes.
Yes, we found out the information of what movies are coming, what's happening.
And
it's exciting.
This was on a new level, and it was one of those first ones that you went, oh my God.
I know.
Now we know movies that are coming out for the next 2 years, and
we have about 10 years, I think, in the planning.
Yeah.
Where they're going, or at least they know, I believe.
Right.
But Kevin Feige is kind of spearheaded this whole thing, and it's been 10 years at this point. And if you're watching this in 2 years from now, it'll be 12 years at that point. And it's been a great run, and it was all stemmed out of that one after credit scene with Nick Fury in Iron Man 1.
That's right.
Do you have any other favorites that are your favorites, if that makes any sense? Do you have any favorites that we missed on our list? Let us know in the comments down below.
We love bringing you these episodes, and we need your help to keep them coming.
Please don't forget to share and subscribe, and keep up with us at hecklerkane.com.